Welcome to Warhammer Gaming. Today we're going to talk about the FAQ for the Old World, which Games Workshop dropped yesterday, 13th of January. Let's get on with the show. So this errata dropped. So as it says at the top, anything in blue is an updated entry, entirely new is magenta. So we're going to look at the changes. Not all the other stuff, just the blue and magenta stuff. So we'll work our way down from the top, and as we hit each one, we'll go into it and what it means. So the first one we've got is crunch. So crunch. The second bullet point is to be changed to, if the path the cannonball meets a hill, impassable terrain or high linear obstacle, it stops immediately. No further models are hit. Now this is causing a lot of discussions in the Old World community, because does it mean you can't fire cannons off a hill or anything like that? To me, it ties into the bounce. So, in Napoleonic times, for example, you fire a cannonball, it's not going to hit and then bounce over a hill to hit the guys behind it. It'll bounce into the hill. I think that's what they're trying to represent. So, to me, it's the bounce that'll do it. So, it'll be that bounce is what it's applying to, not the shot or firing off. The Berserker Blade has been changed, so now it's not giving frenzy anymore. So it starts the same, combat strength +1, but now it gives you extra attacks +1, impetuous, as well as keeping its magical attacks. However, the wielder of the Berserker Blade is impetuous, not any mounted they're on. So that's quite an important thing to consider, and that is a full change. So we'll go further down. The FAQs, here we go. If a specific natural roll triggers an effect, is that effect still triggered if the dice is re-rolled and the re-roll gives a different result? No. When you re-roll a dice, the previous roll is discarded. This includes any effect that roll may have triggered. So if you've got a table, for example, and you roll and you get to re-roll it, the second roll will be the part of the table you take, not the first. It will wipe that out and you won't get it. Now another one, magic. Casting the same enchantments or hex spells on a unit more than once has no further effect. But what about spells of the range itself that affect all units within a certain distance to the caster? So unless stated otherwise, such spells are not cumulative, and cast them multiple times will have no further effect. So you can't buff yourself more than once and things like that is what that says to me. If a unit will have to wheel before or during a charge, do I have to allow for that when declaring and measuring the charge? Yes. Wheeling during a charge is part of the charge move. Free wheel to align once contact is made is free. So this one is quite self-explanatory in all honesty. You don't have to wheel to get there. You've got to measure, you've got to factor in the wheel. So yeah, I can understand why it's been asked, but to me, that's just a little bit of common sense. Models that are in base contact with different enemy units can choose which to attack. When is this decision made? To start the combat or when the model's turn to fight comes? When the model's turn to fight comes. Again, it's self-explanatory. You choose what attacks you're making at your initiative. So if your initiative's 7 and you're in combat with someone with 2 units at initiative 4, you pick which unit you want to fight at your initiative. If it's the other way round, you've got 2 units attacking 1, for example, you're a low initiative, you can pick which models hit and things like that. So yeah, it makes sense, but again, it's self-explanatory. My unit charges an enemy unit that is defending a low linear obstacle, making base contact with the obstacle rather than the unit. Can my unit make impact hits or stomp attacks? No. Models must be in base contact with the enemy to make impact hits or stomp attacks. Now, I'm not sure if that's clear in the rules, but I like the clarification, because it makes things like Tony and Bowman with defensive stakes a bit more interesting, or putting a unit behind a wall. against chariots, for example. Again, it reflects the real world. You can't run into a unit if there's a wall in the way. You can't stand on someone if you're reaching over a wall or a bush. Go through the bush, but you get the point. Is overkill counted by or against a champion in a challenge, or does it only count for characters? Overkill counts in all challenges whether participants are characters or champions. Again, self-explanatory, unit champions are covered by the character rules in the character section of the rulebook. So overkill would work because a sergeant or a unit champion is technically a character according to the book. So every game I've played, overkill counts in all the challenges anyway, champion or not. It's how certain builds are quite strong. So I don't understand why a lot of people are asking for that. To me, it's been pretty self-explanatory. So I don't know with that one. If a model has the Armorbane X listed amongst the special rules, i.e. if the model has the special rule itself rather than the weapon it carries having a special rule, does it apply to impact hits or stomp attacks? Yes. Which makes the Royal Pegasus with Armorbane 1 and stomp attacks pretty tidy to have in your army. So Armorbane now stacks with stomp and chariot's impact hits. So yeah, Armorbane's a pretty good rule. However, with it only being 1 in 6, it's not something to rely on. If you get it, great. 9 times out of 10, you're not going to. That's just one of the things. The unit charged by 2 or more enemy units countercharges one of them. It may end its move presenting a different arc to the other charging units. Do those units resolve their charges against those arcs? Yes. When a unit countercharges, it risks exposing its flanks or rear to the enemy, such as the perils of bravado. Yeah, I can see that one. Because that one to me wasn't really clear. However, reading it, I understand what they're trying to do. And yeah, I think it's a good one. The unit whose troop type is infantry, that is joined by a character whose troop type is cavalry, charges an enemy unit with a countercharge special rule. Can that unit countercharge? No. The unit's troop type doesn't change when joined by a character. If you stick a horseman in with an infantry block, you still count as infantry for that unit. How far does a model with the random movement special rule move when making a countercharge? As stated in the countercharge special rule, a model that makes a countercharge moves d3 plus 1. Again, this one was self-explanatory. Countercharge is the rule, so you just follow the rules for movement for that, because that's the actual rule. So, yes, random movement wasn't clear in regards to that, but common sense would have told you just to follow the countercharge rule. War Beasts and Swarms fear models the flaming attack special rule. The War Beasts and Swarms that have the immune to psychology special rule fear models that have flaming attacks. Yes, they do. Because it's the attack that causes it. Psychology is the interesting one. But to me, yeah, immune to psychology, great. But fear from flaming attacks, it's an attack, not the actual status. If some models in a unit cause fear, but others do not, do I use the unit strength of the whole unit, or just that of the model that cause fear to determine if an enemy unit has a lower unit strength? Count only the unit strength of the models that cause fear. Okay, that tidies that up quite a bit. I quite like that. That's quite happy, it's quite tidy, and that's what we want. Can a model make a regeneration save when it loses a wound? For example, if a model loses a wound due to being unstable, can I attempt to make a save? No. The rule states that wounds are lost. The effective model has suffered 1 or more unsaved wounds, as described on page 102, meaning 1 or more wounds are lost from its profile. So that's basically saying that unstable units with regen, you don't get the regen for losing combat in your unstable rule. That's what that's saying, because that'd make unstable really strong, and it would push like the Tomb Kings in up quite a bit. Not that they're not there. What happens if a unit with move through cover special rule is joined by a character without it? Units move at the speed of their slowest model. Therefore, whilst the unit will suffer no penalty for moving through difficult or dangerous terrain, the character would, potentially reducing how far the entire move it can move. So, there's a magic item for the Bretonians, for example, gives the unit, bear in his unit, move through cover. Now, if I attach a character to that, and he'll still get it. Another example is Bretonian Squires. They're peasants. You can put other peasant things with them, but because they have moved through cover, and the sergeant arms, for example, doesn't, you'll be moving at their speed. Are units that deploy using the scout special rule counted when determining which player finished deploying their army first? Yes. So this now factors in when you're doing your drops, how many drops you have to work out whether it's worth trying for that +1. Skirmishing units or scouts, but use the old world parlance, do count towards your unit drops. So that's quite important. So if you've got scouts your opponent hasn't, he's getting the +1. You're pretty much giving your opponent the +1. So when a unit that has succumbed to stupidity moves, how far must it move? As far as its controlling player wishes, provided it moves straight ahead without performing any maneuvers. So literally you move in a straight line. However far you want to move it, go that far in a straight line. Done. When I move a unit that has succumbed to stupidity, can I move it into base contact with an enemy unit? No. So the rules state you can't move within 1 inch of an enemy unit without charging. So to me, that's self-explanatory. Didn't need the question, but for those that didn't know, it has been clarified. Here's a new one. Is the armor value of a regeneration save improved by a shield, bargaining, or magic item that improves armor? Unless the item specifically states regeneration saves are improved, no. Yeah, that tidies that one up, because there has been a few queries on that. When do you declare that you are using Swift Stride? Before making a charge, fleet, or pursuit roll. So that's basically saying now that you roll your dice, oh, I'm just sure I'll use Swift Stride. You now have to declare it before making the initial dice roll. So that's quite handy. That changes things quite a bit. How does a unit of skirmishers form up when charged by 2 or more different enemy units from different directions? Skirmishers form up against the charging unit to move into contact with them. The remaining enemy units then charge the formed skirmishers. If any units are unable to complete their charge moves, their charges are failed. Okay, so you rank up to the first unit and then everyone else piles in. Do skirmishers have flank or rear arcs whilst engaged in combat? No. That's clarified now because there was nothing in the rules, and it came up in one of my matches at the tournament I went to over the weekend. It was one I was looking at because someone got a rear charge on me and tried to get the +2, but couldn't find anything, so we went, he did, but looking at this now, no. So that combat wouldn't have made much difference. It was Bretonian humans in combat with horrible, scary night things. So, yeah. If a character without the Vanguard special rule joins a unit with it, during deployment, can the character make a Vanguard move with the unit? No. What's more, if the unit is formed, it will not be able to make a Vanguard move. The presence of a character without the Vanguard special rule within its ranks prevents it. However, if the unit is in skirmish formation, it can make its Vanguard move as normal, leaving the character behind. So a good example of this is Pegasus Knights in the Exiles list. You give them a banner, which gives them Vanguard. If you attach a character to it, the Knights will make the Vanguard move, the character will stay behind, because Pegasus Knights come with skirmish. And if you're going to do that, don't bother attaching the character. Simple, that one. If a unit is subject to any leadership modifiers, uses the General's Inspiring Presence rule, or any other rule that allows the unit to use the leadership of a nearby character, does the unit ignore these modifiers? No. The modifiers will still apply. For example, if a unit loses around combat to an enemy that causes terror, -1 modified to leadership caused by terror applies to whichever leadership characteristic the unit makes its break test against, be that its own or that of a nearby character. So, you've got a unit that's taken combat, lost combat by a bit, and you want to use the general's leadership, for example. General's leadership is usually quite high. If you do that, the modifiers applied to that unit will still take place to that general. It just means your number might be a bit higher. So if you've got a base leadership 7, you'll take a leadership test at -3, you move it to your general who's leadership 9, your 4 becomes a 6. So it helps, but yeah, the modifiers still apply regardless. I've always thought that was the case, but people clearly needed it clarifying. To me, that was always how it was. A clumsy unit cannot be joined by a character that is not also clumsy. But can a clumsy character join a unit that is not clumsy? Yes. So, some of the bigger infantry count as clumsy. Now, if you haven't got it, you can't join them. But if you have, you can join a unit that's not. Well, I can go with that. Does a unit that is joined by a character of a different troop type gain the rules associated with the character's troop type? No. So you can't stick a lord on horse in a unit of infantry and the infantry gets the rules of the cavalry. It doesn't work that way. It's still infantry with a horseman attached. Again, that one was pretty self-explanatory, but it obviously needed clearing up. Is the armor value of a ward save improved by a shield, barding, or a magic item that improves armor? Unless the item specifically states ward saves are improved, no. Again, read your magic items, and that will cover all of that. So, magic items. Bearing 2 or more obsidian lodestones gives better magic resistance, but does an obsidian lodestone improve magic resistance granted by a different source? No. That is actually covered under the magic resistance rules in the special rules section. Does a magic standard that affects a unit's weapons, the razor standard for example, also make those weapons magical given the magical attack special rule? Not unless the description of the magic standard in question states that the weapons of a unit carry it gain a magical attack special rule. Generally speaking, purchase a magic item doesn't conjure up additional bonuses from the ether. So the razor standard gives you armor bane 2, but it does not give you magical attacks. Is what that's saying. So unless it has magical attacks written into the weapon or the magic item, you're not getting magical attacks unless you've got it from another source. If a wizard wears the wizarding hat, does it increase their level of wizardry? No. As stated in the item's description, the wearer of the wizarding hat is a level 1 wizard that knows 1 randomly generated spell. This is clearly a huge detriment to a powerful wizard, but might be a boon to any character that is not a wizard. So if you've got a level 4, the hat doesn't make you level 5. It's pointless giving it to anyone who's a wizard, because it's level 1 and you can just pick up a level 1 for cheap anyway. Why spend magic items? Can a wizard with a lore familiar choose one of their faction signature spells instead of the signature spells of their chosen lore? No. Now that's good. So, I've done this. I'll hold my hands up. I didn't realise that the rule was not meant to be used this way. So you take a lore familiar and pick your lore. I can't take the signature spell from my Bretonians if I use the lore familiar. So if I take a lore familiar, I can't, the Bretonian on a wizard, that wizard loses access to the Bretonian lore of the lady. So that changes things slightly, and that might change the standard combination everyone takes of lore familiar and ruby ring. It might not change it, but not being able to take the signature spell from your faction, from your faction's lore, is a massive, massive change. So, yeah, I can possibly see lore familiars being not as common in some factions, So we'll have to wait and see how that plays from this. How does the Spectral Doppelganger spell interact with weapons that have either Strike First or Strike Last special rule? The spell is cast at the wizard's initiative, meaning attacks generated by the spell are made at the wizard's initiative. However, if the casting wizard wishes to use a weapon with the Strike Last special rule, those attacks are made at initiative 1. So if you're running around with a great weapon, Spectral Doppelganger, you cast it at your initiative, but then you don't get to fight until initiative 1. That's how that reads to me. Some models can be found in one faction's army list, but can be included in an army made using a composition list belonging to a different faction. Dragon Ogre Shaggoths or units are included as mercenaries, for example. What list of magic items do such models have access to? That's a good question. So, models can purchase magic items from the list of common magic items in Warhammer, the Old World Rulebook, or from their own faction's list of magic items. Dragon Ogre Shaggoth, for example, can purchase items from the common or Beastman Greyherd's magic item list. So if you want a Dragon Ogre Shaggoth and your Warriors of Chaos, any magic items have to come from the Beastman list. That makes sense, because that's where the actual profile is. So that's all the ones from the rulebook. So some big changes there, some really interesting ones. So that's not looking too bad. So go to the FAQ errata, forces of fantasy. Now let's see what changes have come here. So updated again is blue, fresh is magenta. So the first thing we come to, Sisters of the Thorn. Now this one's causing high elves to cry a little, because this has changed quite a lot. So change the Daughter of Eternity special rule to models of this special rule have a 4+ ward save against any wounds suffered. Change the first sentence of the Deepwood Coven special rule to unit Sisters of Thorn knows a single spell randomly generated by the controlling player before armies are deployed from either battle magic or elementalism. So that's a big change. And correction, that's wood elves, not high elves. But the Sisters of Thorn have been toned down a bit, which I think is a good move, because it was quite strong. Questing Knights for Bretonians. The unit size is now 3+. At the moment, you have to take a unit of 5. Now you can just take a unit of 3. Like Grail Knights, like Pegasus Knights. Great. That might bring Questing Knights into the game a bit. So, from the Arcane Journal, the Goblin Hewer, wounds and attacks is now 2. So 2 wounds, 2 attacks on the crew. Kingdom of Bretonia. For the Guardian of Sacred Sites, this represents the Green Knight. Change the third sentence of the second paragraph of the rule to does not include magical vortexes, open ground, or hills, or any construction such as walls or buildings. So, no bringing your Green Knight out of a hill. Oh, is that a magical vortex? Oh, counts as this. I'll bring him out of there. Not anymore. Has to be in natural terrain. Woods and things like that. So that's a good clarification. Just nuts at people bringing out of open ground or hills. Because, yeah, that's an interesting one. I don't know why people are doing that, unless it was some gaming advantage. But the rule now states no. If the musician and or standard bearer in a unit of slayers are models that have been upgraded to giant slayers, what happens if they are slain? Is their instrument and or standard picked up by another giant slayer or by a troll slayer? Well, that's not a bad one. Let's see what the answer is. Rather depends on the models that remain in the unit. If any giant slayers remain, they will pick up the instrumental standard, replacing the slain models like for like. If no giant slayers remain, a troll slayer will take their place. Note also that giant slayers are not unit champions. Thus, in a unit of slayers, the standard bearer will be the last model removed. So that's saying giant slayers are an upgrade, but they're not unit champions. They're just better profile in the same unit. So if you've got a mixed one, any Giant Slayers that are left, they'll pick up the standard. If there's none left, the normal Troll Slayers will. Okay. If a unit bearing a standard inscribed with the Master Rune of Hesitation falls back in good order and is pursued and caught by an enemy unit, does the rune take effect? Yes, when a pursuing unit catches an enemy unit that fell back in good order, it counts as having charged that unit. Arcane Journal Dwarf Mountain holds 2 runes inscribed upon a Doomseeker's Whirling Blades of Death applied to impact hits. Yes. As stated under Whirlwind of Death, impact hits caused by a Doomseeker are resolved using the profile of its Whirling Blades of Death, which includes any wounds the weapon is inscribed with. Now that opens up some really, really horrible combinations of those runes. I don't know enough about dwarves to know what we can do with it, but that makes some interesting. So the Empire. Only one here. Before a steam tank charges, can it use the steam power special rule to increase how far it can move? No. Steam power special rule can be used instead of marching by a model that cannot march. In other words, in instances where most models or units would increase their movement by marching, a steam tank can instead make use of the steam power special rule. Charging is not such an instance. So if you use steam power, you can't increase your movements, which still not going to make them bad. They're still pretty good units. Most Empire armies are taking one. Bretonians. Can a character with the Shield of the Lady special rule retire to the rear of their unit after issuing a challenge, enabling them to avoid their opponent's attacks? Now, before I answer that, that's just cowardly as hell. You're a Bretonian knight, you issue a challenge and then run away from it. Not very chivalrous. You're a Bretonian, so if you issue the challenge, fight the challenge. To answer the question, no. Once a challenge has been issued and accepted, neither combatant can retire until the challenge is resolved. Chivalry demands it. My army includes a character with the goal at the duel, and I want them to challenge a specific enemy character. Can my opponents use different mods to accept the challenge in that character's stead? Yes. Challenges are issued broadly, they are not issued to specific models. Several models could accept the challenge issued by the bearer of the goal at the duel. One must accept the challenge, but their controlling player decides which. The challenge rules have been like that as far back as I can remember. You throw the challenge out, even if there's multiple characters there, one of them has to accept. You can't throw it out to anyone. It's always been the player whose unit is getting challenged choice. So I don't know why that needed to be put in there. It's pretty self-explanatory, but hey ho. One more from Bretonia. Is a charging lance blunted if an enemy unit countercharges it? No. As both units are charging, the clause that a lance is blunted if it is charged does not countercharge is negated. So countercharge will not will not blunt your lance and form you to rank up. Didn't think it did because you're still technically, because you're making the countercharge, but nice to have that one clarified. High Elves have got one. Does the martial prowess special rule allow models to make supporting attacks with weapons that do not have the fighting extra rank special rule? No. Martial prowess grants the ability to make supporting attacks to the flank or rear as well as to its front. Does not grant the ability to make supporting attacks to models not normally able to do so. So, yeah, if you've got spears, great. If you haven't, yeah, it's... The rule wasn't clear, that clarifies it, but I think common sense would have come into play as well. Ravening Hordes. Again, we'll go through this, blue, magenta, that's all we're reading. So, first thing we come up from the orcs is headbutting at. Add the following to begin the rule, 0 to 1 per model. So if you're trying to put multiple on it, you now can't. why people were doing that, I have no idea. That makes no sense, but hey ho, I don't play most of these factions. This is just what I've seen and what I've played against. So, Warriors of Chaos. Okay, so we've got Skin Wolves. Change the base size to 50 by 50 mil. Under options, change Skin Wolf Jarl to Skin Wolf Jarl Champion. Add fear to the Skin Wolves list of special rules. Okay, so they're picking up fear. That's quite a nice one to have. Warp Fire Dragons. Add close order to the Warp Fire Dragons list of special rules. Okay, that's fair. So Warp Fire Dragons now get close order. I can go with that. How are victory points scored for a Night Goblin unit that includes one or more Fanatics once its Fanatics have been released? Fanatics are an upgrade for the unit. Their costs include when working out a VP for the unit itself. In other words, the death of an individual Fanatic is not worth any VP. But destroying the unit it was concealed within will earn you the VP for the Fanatic as part of the unit's point cost. So it's an upgrade. You can wipe them out. You've got to wipe the unit they came out of as well, just to get any VPs for that. That makes sense. If I upgrade a unit of Boar Boys to have the big and special rule, do their War Boars benefit as well? Yes. Note, the strength characteristic of Biggins is modified whilst they are engaged in combat. And that impact hits are made using the model's unmodified strength characteristic. So the next one, can the glowy green amulet be used by a character that isn't a wizard? Yes. Glowy green amulet is a talisman, meaning any character can take magic items can use it. However, if they wish to use it against an enemy spell, they do so instead of a wizardly dispel attempt being made. This means that you cannot also attempt a wizardly dispel against the spell you use the glowy green amulet against, even if the glowy green amulet explodes. So no two attempts to dispel the same spell. You get the one attempt with either your wizard or the glowy green amulet, that's it. Fails, it fails. Can the size of range self-spells or effect be increased by the Idler Core? No. The aura of effect of a range self-spell is not its range. What happens if I wish to accept the challenge to fight a warrior's duel but do not have any single wound champions in my army? Roll off to determine who takes the first turn as normal. Okay. So if you've got no one wound champions, but if you're taking that thing, why aren't you taking a champion specifically for that? When fighting a warrior's duel challenge between two unit champions, are such things as magic standards carried by their units counted? No. It's the warrior's duel challenge, from what I've seen and what I understand of it, is the same as a normal challenge in the game, without the extra bits. So it's just two people fighting. So the duel was fought between two champions alone without any support from their unit. That makes sense. You've issued a challenge, but your mates will give you all... No. Go and watch Vikings, you'll understand what I mean. Or Last Kingdom, which is just as badass. Does a unit with the Bloodbreed special rule always roll only a single d6 for making a pursuit roll, or only whilst frenzied? Only whilst frenzied. So once you lose frenzy, you lose the single d6 for making a pursuit roll. So that's quite tidy. It's quite handy. It tidies things up. Can a Casket of Souls move at the end of the shooting phase of its turn using the reserve move special rule, should it have it? Yes. Whilst the Casket of Souls is an immovable object, this special rule clearly states that it prevents the model moving during the remaining move subphase. It does not prevent movements at other times or during other phases. That's quite worrying that you can now move the Casket of Souls around a bit. That makes it harder for your opponents to get at. Because if you're running that list, it gives the unit the boost. And trying to get to it is a nightmare. Now that it can move, that makes it really hard. It gives Tomb Kings yet another lift to keep them up at the higher end. So, that's me looking over the FAQs, the erratas for it all released yesterday, 13th of Jan. So some good changes, some clarifications of rules. Some, personally, it's just my personal opinion, guys, didn't need clarifying. They made sense as they were, but that's just how some people are. Some people think like that. They need it really clarified and simplified down for them. That's fine. We're all different. So thanks for making it this far, guys. I look forward to seeing you in the next video. And I will see you all very soon. Goodbye.